Well, joining us to tell us more about what the numbers might mean for the two companies is Dan Ye. He's the CEO of CollegeNode. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Rachelle.
So, Daniel, what would you say is at the moment at the core of Weibo's business?
Well, at the core of Weibo's business is delivering content to its users, contents that users want, right? Users want different things. Some of the users want to read news. Some of the users want to look at sports, and the largest segment of the user simply want to be entertained. So the core of the business is to deliver what the user want while continuously expanding the user base as it grows.
So when you look at the latest numbers that are coming out of this report, are you surprised at this?
Well, so the numbers are overwhelmingly very positive, right? So revenue went up over 70%, so is income. And most important, if you look at the user base, it has grown over 25% year over year. So by any measure, this is a smashing success. Now, if you digest the numbers a little bit closely, majority of the growth in user come from mobile user, which is exactly what they want, because the Chinese consumer habit is rapidly changing. So much more users are migrating to mobile. So by any measure, this is a very good quarterly report.
Now, it's very interesting because a lot of times Weibo gets compared to Twitter, which is having issues when it comes to growing its user base and trying to woo advertisers. What is Weibo, or perhaps even the way its consumer base is, what are they doing differently where they're succeeding where Twitter isn't?
Well, two things that's separating Twitter and Weibo. Number one, Weibo is growing very rapidly. We saw a renaissance in Weibo about 3 years ago, whereas in 2011, 2012, the platform has been stagnating, whereas starting 3 years ago, it's changing its formula and attracting users back to the platform. So since then, it experienced rapid growth in the number of users and boosting up its stock price. And also, Weibo is more successful than Twitter in terms of squeezing money out of its user. So there are many things that they're doing right, but really it comes down to providing user with the content they want. When you have users' eyeball, when you have users' time, then it's easier to get revenue out of your user. And again, if you look at the quarterly statement, revenue has increased by over 70%. That is a testament that the company is doing a lot of things right.
So it seems like they've done a better job of perhaps building an ecosystem where it's a one-stop shop, where you're able to get all sorts of different things all in one place.
That's absolutely right. So again, the company refocused itself a few years ago, and the renovation effort has been proven very successful.
Now, in terms of the government's regulations on things like video streaming, how do you see that impacting Weibo's strategy and perhaps even its profitability?
Well, this is an interesting question. If you look at the license requirement, it only applies to political or news or commentaries, which only accounts to roughly 10% of Weibo's content. So Weibo's stock price dropped over 10% when the news broke, but then after the shareholders calmed down, the stock quickly bounced up, because this is the market betting that this is only a very temporary issue. The majority of the user on Weibo really look to get entertained, and that is something that Weibo is doing very well right now.
And is there anything that you think could potentially slow down its success?
Well, the market is already so big, right? China has 1.5 billion people, but right now Weibo is already enjoying success in China. So whether Weibo can push itself beyond China's border is the next big question. If you look at a similar platform like Weixin has been very successful in countries in Southeast Asia, in Mexico, even in Brazil. Whether Weibo can push beyond the border is the big question that we want to ask, because according to this fast pace of growth, it's only going to be a few years before it saturates the Chinese market.
And certainly a crowded and very competitive market. Thank you, as always. Good to have you on. Dan Ye, CEO of CollegeNode.